Hello and welcome to my three-part book audit series. Thank you so much to Chaz for this great idea, which is where I first saw his book audit video. I've also seen it on Nicole's channel, Nicole's Bookish Nook, and I'll leave information about where this started, as Nicole shared that in her video as well. I thought it was a great idea. I'd set the goal in January 2022 to read my personal library, and I've been slowly plugging away at that. Of course, until I did this audit, I had no idea how much my personal library has grown in a few years. Thank you so much to the Goodwill thrift store. And it was good to know that I've actually done better than I thought. I'll give all the total numbers at the end of part 3. In the next 3 videos, you'll see all my books. I'll talk about how many I have in a cube or on a shelf, how many I've read, how many I have yet to read, as well as share that some are resources or programs, so they're not read front to back types of books, but I've included them because they are part of the reading experience. I didn't include my craft or cookbooks because those really aren't a read front to back and don't relate back to most of the other reading. Let me know in the comments down below as we go through this. Do you read some of the genres that I'll be sharing? Let me know if you've done a book audit. And so without further ado, here we go. First of all, I'll be going through the 16 cubes here. Yes, I have a pile here that I've counted. They need to be put away. The tray. These are journals and planning that I need to get organized. 2 books I found downstairs that came up. The bookcase, 4 cubes, a pile of books up here, and of course, all the new finds that were added in. Basket of finished books, which I'll get to, and these are included as well. So I need to get this video done in order to move all my books back in their proper places and start getting things organized and read. I have my little cheat sheet here with everything counted and tallied up. I did that several days ago, and here we go. In cube number 1, this is basically a resource shelf, so I'm not counting these as TBRs because they're not really read front to back types of books. They're references. I have 12 books altogether in this cube, and of that, 8 of them are resource books. I just need to read A Dream of Dracula. That was a new find. I've read A Brief Guide to the Supernatural, a brief history of vampires, and The Complete Idiot's Guide to Vampires. Yes, I do have a couple of vampire videos planned, specifically one about Vlad Tepes, the individual that Bram Stoker based Dracula on, as well as talking about vampires in general. Cube number 2. There are 15 books in total. 4 I have read, 11 are on my TBR. Yes, I've read The Republic before. I've done a video on the 5. Dawkins, I don't know when I'm going to finish him. I'm going to have to restart The God Delusion. It was just a tough slog. And I have a number of other books here, including a Sagan that I need to finish, a couple books on philosophy that I need to start. I certainly have heard of Nietzsche, but I haven't actually read any of his work. I have read How Woke One. That was a perk to having done the banned book project last year. And I still haven't read Margaret Mead. In the next cube here, and I need to move my Anne Stokes, love her work. Okay, cube number 3 is mainly programs and self-study, so I don't factor those in as books to read. I have a number of Julia Cameron's. I have the Study Bible. I have read Way of the Peaceful Warrior. That is a rebuy. I very much enjoyed that read. The one book I will be reading is the complete book of Chakra Healing. I've had that for over a decade, so it's been waiting patiently. Another Julia Cameron, Prosperity Every Day. That's just quotes each day, so again, not a to-read book. And E Squared, E Cubed are both by Pam Grout, and Something to Work Through. So as far as this shelf, yes, I do have 13 books, but only one that I need to read. Now, my next shelf, and yes, these are just a few of the dragons. I'll be doing a full Meet the Dragons video in a little while. This video is about the books. In this shelf, I have 12 books in total. I've read 9 of them, and I only have 3 to add to my TBR. I've read and worked through all of the work by James Redfield. The only book I need to finish that collection is The 12th Insight. I've read both of these Paulo Coelho books. That's right, Van, here's The Alchemist. The Last Lecture, an amazing book, and I have done a video on that. A Course in Miracles is not a front-to-back read. Yes, I do have the big book of AA, which I do need to read. And I have read Designs for Growth, and I have 12 Steps, 12 Traditions. That was a gift from one of my clients years ago. And no, for me, AA wasn't the solution, but there are a lot of amazing things to the program, points to ponder and consider. So yes, I will at some point be reading that front to back. And yes, that was a rebuy because I also used to have the big book from NA when I worked as a case manager, and I'd unhauled them years ago, but I decided, you know what? It probably wouldn't hurt to have a copy of the AA Big Book again. Next, we have a very busy shelf here. The Screw Calm and Get Angry was a gift from a former co-worker. And it's a lovely book of quotes and just things to make you chuckle, actually, rather than get angry. So in this particular cube, I have 32 books altogether. You can see there's 2 rows. I have, amazingly, only 8 books added to my TBR from here. 11 books fall into the other category. So Angel Messages, Wisdom of Tree Oracle, Celtic Magic, the Oculatum, the Mayan Oracle, Medicine cards are a few examples, as is Chaldean numerology. Those are, again, resource and reference. I have a book back there with cards on palmistry. I have information on colors and numerology. So those really aren't read front to back books. They're more, again, a type of reference. I have done a video on the Oculatum. It's just such an interesting book. You can read it forward, backward, upside down. I give the printers kudos because some printers can't even get it right side up and proper spelling. Beside that shelf, I have another very full shelf. This one has 27 books. I'm going to move my little angel and selenite sphere. I have done soul coaching by Denise Lynn a couple of times. It was a very interesting experience and read. These are a lot of the self-help books as the other shelf. In this case, I have 11 on the TBR. 15 of them I've read, and one is another, meaning reference. I have a Wayne Dwyer to read. I've done a video on the Empath Survival Guide by Judith Orloff, and I actually have another video coming up about her work, Positive Energy, which is a program as well. Archetypes by Carolyn Miss falls into the other, mainly because it isn't a front to back read. It's a reference. You do a quiz and then read the ones that relate to you. I also have Mrs. Sacred Contracts, Why People Don't Heal, and I've just picked up her book, Anatomy. I'll talk about that when I get to the new finds purchase. I have Martha Beck here, Finding Your Own North Star, and I'm rereading Steering by Starlight. That's in part for Agitation August, where I will be appearing with Margaret Pinard on her channel to talk about that work. We have Shakti Gawain, love her work. I've mentioned Claude Bristol several times. The Magic of Believing, definitely need to reread that. So a lot of different self-help books there. I also have Gary Zukav back there. I have read The Seed of the Soul. I've yet to read Soul Stories. There were quite a few of his books at the thrift store when I was there on the weekend. I haven't read Eat, Pray, Love, but I've heard about it. So I picked up a copy a while ago at the thrift store. Still haven't been drawn to read it, so let me know down below if you've read it and what were your thoughts. Before I move on to the next cubes, because then I can move this whole box, this is a combination of recent buys and finds plus Wilbur Smith's The Sunbird, which was a bit disappointing the way he set it up in 2 sections, so I need to get around to finishing that. This pile is 9 books, 7 of them go on the TBR. The 2 that I have read, ironically, one is the Sarah J. Maas, Frost and Starlight, and the Da Vinci Code was a reread. The others are all going on the TBR, and I have mentioned them in the book haul, 2 book haul videos ago. So heading back up to go across with the cubes, I have my fun little light that I need to charge and change its color. I have my cool intention journal. Yes, the stickers do glow in the dark, and I love the full moon, so this was a perfect setup to write out goals and intentions. Here we have our Grail and other books. In this cube, I have 13 books in total. 4 are the only ones I need to read, meaning I've read 8 of them in total, and 1 falls into the other category. The books that I still have to read here are The Grail, A Secret History, Rosalind, that was a new find. I've read all 3 of Lawrence Gardner's. I've reread these 2, need to read Bloodline again. I need to finish Turning the Templar Key. The reference book is A Witch's Guide to Fairy Folk, so I still need to read Celtic Wisdom. I've read Finding Merlin, Idiots, Elves, and Fairies, Holy Blood, Holy Grail, Arthur and the Lost Kingdoms, and A Brief History of Arthur. And yes, many of those titles are part of that Da Vinci Spiral. Okay, next, and I do miss Tribal Mountain here. This is a beautiful carved box with dragonflies. And in the back, I've got correspondences. That's by Sandra Kynes, published by Llewellyn. I have quite a few Llewellyn books. I think at the moment Arcturus is the top publisher, followed by Llewellyn. So again, in here, there are a majority of reference books versus reading front to back. Of Spirit of the Wolf, Speaking with Nature. Making Medicine is a journal that goes with the medicine cards and just writing. And I currently have Animal Speak by Ted Andrews on my desk because if you've been following along either on my last book haul video or my community posts, we did have an eagle above the car on Sunday when I was out shopping, so now I want to find out about that information. As far as this cube, there are 11 books in total. 8 are resources, 2 I need to read, and 1 I have read. And I did read Animal Speak front to back. That's the one I've read there. The next cube is all my different binders. So obviously, I'm not reading those. The 3 books that I have there are about learning languages. So I have French, Gaelic, and ironically, yes, Hungarian, which is my first language. And I need to relearn it because since my family has passed, I don't really have anyone to speak it with, which makes me very sad having lost my first language. This cube, again, has a lot of different books in it. This is mainly Ancient Egypt in the back. My illustrated copy of the Da Vinci Code. I have Hidden Stonehenge, which is by a Canadian that I do want to read. I have the sign and the seal back there. I know you can't see it very well because of the lighting. And my illustrated sprayed edge copy of Edgar Allan Poe's stories. And here I have my box of a lot of different subjects. It'd just be easier to show them this way. So I have my Zachariah Sitchin, Earth Chronicles. A couple of these books I've had since I was a kid. Bought them from Scholastic because you could order books through your school. Where did they go? Interesting, this actually mentions the Sumerians, which I didn't get back to learning about until I read Sitchin's work a couple of years ago. I've had the series for over a decade, but just read them. This pile here are my recently acquired. The Bermuda Triangle is a rebuy, and I read it years ago. That's by Charles Berlitz. I'm currently reading one of his other works from the 1970s. Looking forward to all of these reads. So in total, this cube has 32 books. 14 of them are on my TBR. I've read 15 of them, and 3 are others. The next cube, and I have my little fun boxes. This has all my black paper pencil crayons and my bag for pencil shavings. I have had this egg for quite a long time. It was a lovely gift from my husband. And more of the books that certainly relate to the Da Vinci Spiral and other things. In this cube, I have 15 books. I've read 10 of them. 4 go on the TBR, and 1 falls in the category of other, and that is, of course, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's by Budge, and it's not really a book to me that you read front to back. You kind of take your time with it, but it's not the same as reading a novel or another type of work. I may change my mind with that one after looking at my new Book of the Dead with the plates. But for now, this shelf is only adding 4 on my TBR. I've got works by Andrew Collins, so Göbekli Tepe, Origins of the Gods, The Cygnus Key. I have works by Baval, Creighton, Schoch, who is the geologist who dated the Sphinx, Vlikovsky about Ramses, and Esoteric Egypt. Next, and yes, I had to put Jack somewhere. Looking forward to the live stream with that trivia. Need to watch him soon because I love that movie, and the screenplay is by one of my favorite authors, Michael McDowell. Here again, we have a variety of different books. We have work by Masons, so the Hiram Key, the Second Messiah, the Messianic Legacy is written by the same authors of Holy Blood, Holy Grail. They are not Masons, but Christopher Knight and Robert Lomas are. Lomas is also the author of the Templar Key. And we've got Alan Alford, Gods of the New Millennium. This is his 10-year work based on Zachariah Sitchin's Earth Chronicles, which is the culmination of 30 years of Zachariah's research. Then we've got David Wilcox. I'll talk about that in another video. Sylvia Brown, Secret Societies. Yes, I'll be talking about her too. The Shining Ones. And then back here, more works about the Anunnaki, more Zachariah Sitchin. The Ascension Mysteries is also by Wilcox. I've yet to finish it because I'm up to here. And so far, it's just him from kindergarten to grade 10. We haven't really gotten into the subject of the book. More on that later. Timothy Wiley, interesting read. This relates to the Urantia book, which I've never read. Interesting take on Lucifer and what that's all about. Wisdom of the Watchers is another one of his. Teachings of the Rebel Angels on Earth's Forgotten Past. They were interesting reads, but as I suggest, when you're reading this type of thing, especially, I'm sorry, David Wilcox, take it with a pound of salt, not so much a grain. Ask yourself, what was the motivation? Is it a grift? Is it based on research? What is the purpose? And until I get into specific books, I'm going to leave it there. In this cube, there's a total of 18 books, 12 that I've read, and only 6 going on my TBR. So yes, I've been reading this type of thing for a long time. Down to the bottom. Obviously, this is all about mythology. Again, a number of great finds at my thrift store. I'm just quick taking a peek, and shucks, I did miss one of Bulfinch's mythology books. They had one on Greek and Romans, but I didn't have a full list with me, and I wasn't sure if I already had that. So these are my mythology books. Yes, here I have included Shipwrecks and Legends around Cape May. Very much enjoyed that read. I have a Joseph Campbell, Myths to Live By. I have read The Brief History of Stonehenge. I have yet to read Volsungs or The Kalevala. Not even sure if I said that right. The Mabinogion definitely is still on my to read. A book about whales. I love being able to learn about that country, and a big part of that is because of Dan from the World of Mr. Gray, who does videos as he's out and about walking, and it's just such a beautiful country in the mountains. Altogether with mythology, I have 21 books. 17 of them are on my TBR. 3 of them I have actually read. and one falls into the other. That's going to be mythology, because that's a monster reference read. But I have read some of these others from different collections. Next, and yes, I did make these up because the baskets do make it handy for pulling the titles out. So I have a book on Atlantis and other lost worlds. I have this gorgeous collection, Guide to World Mythology. It's a box set of 3. This includes ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Norse, Chinese, Indian, and Japanese. Looking forward to those reads. Another Charles Berlitz that I just found. He's got a book on Atlantis. Definitely wanting to read about Machu Picchu. That's coming up currently in my Hancock. And another Charles Berlitz read. Atlantis Beneath the Ice. Rand and Rose Flamath. Canadians! Woohoo! So see, as I get through some of my books, I realize I do actually have a number of Canadian authors. These are all Atlantis. Then we've got Mayan 2012 and the different theories and ideas about them. Crystal Skulls, which until I read this, I had no idea there was one, like literally an hour and a half from where I live in Guelph, Ontario. But the owner has since passed. I have no idea where that skull now has gone. I have another huge book on the Aztec and Maya. Work by Charles Hapgood. And the Mayan calendar and transformation of consciousness. Haven't read Kalaman before. We'll see how that goes. So in that cube, there are 19 books, only 8 go on my TBR. I've read 11 of them, which makes me very happy. My empty After 8 tin, they were so yummy. Then I have another journal to incorporate. This is all about writing. And no, I'm not an author, but I do enjoy reading some different things about it. Have some plans. I'd like to put together my own deck of cards for meditation, so Louise Hay. There's a nighttime novelist book, a couple of books on practicing and developing your writing skills, writing the paranormal novel. Yes, it is funny, Twilight's mentioned in here, and why Stephanie Meyer's got away with the twinkly vampires. Basically, these are just practice writing and develop some skills. No, I don't plan on ever writing a novel. That's just for me, cube. So I have 10 books in there. 4 are to be read, and 6 are due activity books. The final cube, again, is just more binders and organization. That wraps up the 16 cubes. In the next video, I'll be talking about what's on the cart, the bookcase, and the cubes.